Welcome to Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? This is your go-to source for practical advice and support when considering if a divorce is the right answer for you. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll uncover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore the emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here is your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we are going to take on a financial hurdle that many couples face during divorce, and that's dealing with debt. Let's face it, debt can be a major source of stress. And when you throw divorce into the mix, it can feel overwhelming. So in this episode, we're going to look at equipping you with the knowledge to navigate debt division during divorce. Now, it's going to start with dividing the debt up between two topics. One is marital debt and the other is separate debt. First, let's understand the differences between marital debt and separate debt. Marital debt is any debt accumulated during the marriage, like credit cards, mortgages, car loans. Separate debt, on the other hand, is debt incurred by one spouse before the marriage or after separation, and is typically not considered shared. So, how states handle debt division? It's going to depend on the state on how this stuff gets divided. And there are two main approaches. One is equitable distribution. In these states, marital assets and debts are divided fairly, but not necessarily equally. Factors like income, earning potential, and who benefits from the asset, for example, keeping the house, are considered. And then other states have what's called community property. And here, all marital assets and debts are considered community property and are split 50-50 right down the middle. So how can we approach this division of debt in a way that benefits you? I mean, let's look at some strategies here. First, we want to gather documentation, collect statements for all your debts, whether it's credit cards, mortgages, car loans, or other debt. And this will give you a clear picture of your financial landscape. Then you might want to consider something like debt consolidation, and explore consolidating your debts into a single loan payment with lower interest rate. And this can simplify your potentially saving money. You got to negotiate with your spouse. Open communication here is going to be important. Can you agree on a fair division of the debt based on factors like income or who primarily used the credit card? Probably not going to be easy, but you're going to want to try it anyway. And then also seek legal counsel. An experienced divorce lawyer can advise you on the legal aspects of debt division in your state and ensure your interests are protected. So I don't think I have to say, we got to have a clear agreement. I mean, a clear and documented agreement of debt division is going to be paramount. It should outline each spouse's responsibility for specific debts and how they'll be handled moving forward. This helps avoid future conflicts and protects your credit score. Now, as we know, divorce is a very complex process, and debt adds another layer of difficulty. But with the right approach, gathering information, exploring options, and seeking legal advice, you can navigate this challenge. Remember, your financial well-being post-divorce is essential. Should you have any questions on today's topic, I'm happy to help you. Either reach out to me or leave your question in the comments section and I'll get back to you. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? Take care. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to venture into the world of discovery and divorce. Now, discovery might sound intimidating, but it's an important phase that helps ensure a fair outcome. So let's break down what it is and how it works. Starting with what is discovery in divorce? Well, discovery is all about gathering information. Think of it as the fact-finding stage of your divorce case. Both spouses, through their lawyers, exchange information relevant to financial issues, child custody if applicable, and other aspects of the marriage. This information helps each side understand the other's financial situation and build a stronger case. So we got some tools we can use. And so there's several key tools we use in discovery. First is interrogatories. And these are written questions exchanged between spouses. They can cover everything from income and assets to debts and spending habits. We have requests for production of documents. And this is a formal request for documents like tax returns, bank statements, pay stubs, and retirement account statements. And then there's depositions. So depositions are out of court sworn testimonies where lawyers can question each spouse under oath. Why is this all important? Why is discovery important? Well, discovery plays a vital role in a fair divorce settlement for several reasons. First is transparency. It promotes financial disclosure, ensuring neither spouse hides assets or income. And this leads to a more equitable division of property and debts. It helps with making informed decisions. I mean, by understanding each other's financial standing, both spouses can make informed decisions about child support, spousal support, and asset division if those apply. And we also have reducing conflict. So discovery can uncover potential issues early on, allowing lawyers to address them through negotiation rather than costly courtroom battles. What are we going to expect during discovery? So the discovery process, it can be a little time consuming. So you want to be prepared. And here's what to expect. Start with gathering your own documents. It's, you got to get things together like tax returns, bank statements, and investment statements. And your divorce attorney can guide you through this, or a certified divorce financial analyst as well. Want to respond openly, honestly, and completely. Be truthful when answering interrogatories and providing documents. Lying under oath can have serious legal consequences. I think we all know that. And then also seek legal counsel. An experienced divorce lawyer will advise you on responding to discovery requests and protect your interests throughout the process. So discovery doesn't have to be scary. It might seem overwhelming, but with the right preparation and legal guidance, you can navigate it effectively. Remember, it's a necessary step towards a fair and informed divorce settlement. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties. Is divorce the answer? Should you have any questions, leave them in the comment section or reach out. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Have a good day. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties. Is divorce the answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to dive into a topic that might feel overwhelming and really how divorce impacts college costs for your children. I mean, let's face it, college is expensive. I don't think I have to tell you that. And then we can top it with a layer of divorce. And what do we got is something that's going to be pretty complex to get through. So if you're considering a divorce and having college-bound kids, then this episode's for you. We'll break down some of the legalities, explore strategies, and offer some tips to navigate this financial hurdle. So first, let's clarify, all right? Child support typically is court ordered and meant to cover basic needs like food, clothing, and housing. And I want to differentiate between child support and, say, college costs, because college costs are really a separate matter. In some states, judges can consider college costs when determining child support, especially for high earners. But it's not always automatic. There are factors here that we have to look at, like each parent's income, existing debt, and the child's academic performance. Now, we can look at this, college cost inside the divorce agreement. I mean, it's probably the best way to ensure clarity on college expenses is just right there in the well-crafted divorce agreement. Now, this is where you and your soon-to-be ex-spouse can outline your financial responsibility for college. This agreement can specify like a proportion of contribution? Will it be a 50-50 split, or will it be based on income, or something else you come up with? Now, the types of expenses covered as well will be handled, and that includes things like tuition, fees, room and board, and even books and supplies. And then review and adjustment. So we want to consider including a clause that allows for adjustments based on changes in income or scholarships received by your child, really just trying to cover as many of the bases as you can with the conversation. So when we look at strategies for divorced parents and planning for college, well, let's look at some practicalities here. And we want to first start by, hey, if you start saving early, it's probably going to be better for you. Even if a divorce is on the horizon, prioritize saving for your child's education. There are things like a 529 college savings plan, and they can offer some tax benefits, but really just saving in general could make a big difference on how you guys get your kids through college. Now, you're going to want to have open communication with your child as well. You're going to talk to your child about college aspirations and potential costs. Who's going to cover what? How much is covered of what? How scholarships fit in. Now, really transparency here fosters shared responsibility. And then there's financial aid options that you're going to want to explore. So encourage your child to research scholarships, grants, and work study programs, and these can significantly reduce the financial burden. Remember, communication, just like through the entire process, is key. And even though divorce can be emotionally charged, just remember that your child's future is at stake. Communicate openly with your ex-spouse about college costs. Consider mediation if reaching an agreement proves difficult. As we wrap up here, divorce is, as we know, a complex issue, and planning for college adds even more complexity to something that's already up there. So, however, if we have some clear communication, a well-defined agreement, and proactive strategies, we can approach this challenge with a little more confidence. We just want to keep our kids in mind, and that, really a shared responsibility even after divorce. So I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? Should you have any questions on today's topic, just let me know. I'm happy to help. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Until next time, take care. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to dive into a pretty important aspect of divorce, and that is the marriage settlement agreement, or MSA. Now, this document holds immense power. It outlines, how you and your soon-to-be ex-spouse will navigate your separate lives. Feeling a bit overwhelmed about this topic? Well, don't worry. This episode will help you understand, what our approach is with the MSA, and we're going to get you there with confidence. First, let's start about a little defining the marriage settlement agreement. Think of an MSA as a roadmap for your post-divorce life. It lays out key decisions, and these are going to include things like division of assets and debts, everything from the house and car to your retirement accounts and credit card debt. The agreement will specify how these assets and debts will be divided. It also will tackle spousal support. Will one spouse receive ongoing financial support from the other? Maybe. The MSA will define the amount, duration, and conditions of such support, if any. And then you got child custody and support. If you have children, the MSA will detail their physical and legal custody arrangements, as well as child support payments. So what are the benefits of a well-drafted marriage settlement agreement? Well, an MSA offers, a fair number of benefits, and it can start with reduced conflict. By hammering out these details up front, you're able to minimize potential disputes later, saving time, money, and emotional turmoil. Control over your future. You have a say in how your assets and finances will be divided, promoting a sense of control during a stressful time. And then a faster divorce process. So a clear and well-defined MSA can expedite the divorce process, allowing you to move forward sooner. So what do we want to consider when drafting a marriage settlement agreement? Well, here's some key considerations. And first is full disclosure. Both spouses must disclose all financial assets and liabilities. Transparency is critical for a fair agreement. Then you got legal counsel. Consulting with an experienced divorce lawyer is probably in your best interest and important. They can ensure your rights are protected, explain legal implications, and help you navigate the complex issues like child custody or spousal support. And then there's also future considerations. Think about long-term implications. Will your financial situations change? Factor in potential career changes, retirement plans, and children's needs. Remember, it's a negotiation. The MSA is a negotiation, not a dictation. Be prepared to compromise, but also stand firm on your priorities. Your divorce attorney will be your advocate during this process. So, really, we want a fair and well-crafted marriage settlement agreement because it sets the stage for smoother transition in your post-divorce lives. It minimizes future legal battles and allows you to focus on healing and rebuilding. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties. Is divorce the answer? Let me know what questions you have. Happy to help. Leave a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Until next time, take care. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Ties. Is divorce the answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we are going to go unscripted. And this is where I'm going to share some thoughts on a topic. Not really having a script to abide by. I use the scripts to make sure I don't leave things out that are of importance because divorce, as we know, is very important, and making sure that we get all the bases covered. But when I do the unscripted, I like to just chat about a topic and some things to think about, perhaps, or some things that come to my mind that, they could be outside the box, inside the box. You may already know them, you may not. And when we look at the topic today of some summer changes when divorced, summertime right now, so it makes it easy for me to take a look around and see things and stuff that I enjoy. But I think, you got to break it into two parts. One is, are you doing some solo things with just you, or are you doing things with your kids and such? And so you really want to kind of break that down. If it's just you really have lots of control. If you're going to be just a single individual after you're divorced, or perhaps your kids have moved on, then, summer is a great time to explore the outdoors. For obvious reasons, the weather is usually fairly nice. But then also you can look at things like, trying new things out in the summer that you wouldn't necessarily get a chance to do in the wintertime and stuff. Each season is kind of different in that regards. There's traveling. There is also just trying new foods, trying new restaurants, singles groups, if that's your thing. But really, you can do a bike ride. There's all sorts of activities. I think part of the real challenge is really trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do. And you kind of got to explore yourself. It's like, and I think, the things you don't like list is probably just as important as the things you like to do list. So take care of, if you don't like to do it, then fine. Don't even think remotely of doing something, or, even if it's just to appease a friend of yours, don't do it if a friend does it. If you don't like it, find another activity that you guys have common ground on, kind of stuff. So you can definitely explore yourself, use that self-discovery and figure out some things to try, and then see what you like. You don't have to stick with it. Maybe it's a short run. For example, I brew beer, but I only brew beer in the wintertime, for 3 months. And then after that, I move on to the next thing that I like, for myself, but I don't think I would enjoy doing it completely year round. Now, when you have kids, it's a little different during the summer, because you might have a different visitation schedule, as opposed to the every other week and whatever days during the week. You might have your kids for a week at a time if that's what you set up. And so that can actually change the flow of the summer and the routines and such, and how you plan vacations and things with your kids, if that's something you want to do. But when you do have your kids during the summer, I'm always a big fan of doing outdoor activities when possible. We do a lot of disc golfing. It's great exercise. It's fun. The kids are able to participate, and we find it very enjoyable. But there's plenty of other outdoor activities, perhaps the zoo or a sporting event or something. If you're taking vacations, you want to get those lined up, and really you keep the kids informed. I mean, they want to know what's going on, and that reduces their anxiety when they do know. But then, you do have some mundane stuff. I mean, there could be kids camps and things where you might have to shuttle kids around, or they might have if they're a little older, they might have a part-time job that they have to go to and stuff as well. So life is, going to ebb and flow with regards to the summer and such. So, but there again, I think it's important to also figure out what your kids enjoy, in addition to what you enjoy, and then figuring out what you have in common that you can actually enjoy together. And I think that's going to make for a great memory and a great experience for you. So that's going to wrap up, my Unscripted today. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties Is Divorce the Answer? And, should you have a question, let me know. I say it all the time. Reach out. I'm here to help. That's what I enjoy doing. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And at that, have yourself a great summer.